Welcome to Alpha Theory. Consider this your spoiler warning. In episode 2, we find out the OA is smuggled to America as a child, so she can go to boarding school for blind children, so she can be safe from the Void while getting the treatment and care she needs, while also living at her aunt's house. It seems like a pretty reasonable thing for her father to do in order to protect his daughter. While in America, she has to pretend to be someone else and is not allowed to speak Russian, which I guess is also reasonable considering how dangerous the voice seems. She gets a call at the school saying that her father is dead, but she does not believe her father is dead because, let's face it, after her floating crayon vision came true, she thinks everything she dreams or thinks will come true. She is forced to live with her aunt that seems to be running an illegal baby mill, possibly, and the OA, who is still going by the name Nina at the time, is neglected and does not really receive the care she needs. One day, an older couple looking for a baby shows up to this possibly illegal Russian baby mill and instead decides to buy the OA and name her Prairie. Everything seems to be going great till her foster parents discover she talks in Russian in her sleep and plays with knives. Freaked out, they record her and bring her to a doctor that says she needs to be medicated for her mental illnesses, which I feel most parents would do in this situation. She is drugged for 13 years, and during this time still gets visions and premonitions in her sleep. She strongly feels her father is alive and is sending her messages. So, when she turns 21, she decides to run away and find her father. She goes to where the visions tell her, which is the Statue of Liberty in New York. But he never shows up. So it is quite possible she has been delusional for the past 13 years. Afterwards, she refuses to give up and she starts playing her violin in the subway, hoping her father will find her. Her father never comes, but a charismatic doctor shows up and buys her dinner and tells her there are other people like her that have had near-death experiences that end up being extraordinary due to them. She ends up going with the doctor so he can study her. After all, he seems like a nice guy that is genuinely interested in her. Together, they fly on his private plane to his place, and when they get there, Prairie tries to call her parents, but they don't pick up. The doctor assures her she can try calling again tomorrow and takes her to her new room. He takes her down to the basement, and she hears all sorts of things, like running water and the feeling of rocks. He sits her on her new bed, and it's then that she realizes that she's been tricked, and when she goes to get up, is trapped in a glass or plastic cage. Most people probably would assume this would have happened, but Prairie, being hopeful due to her visions, trusted her instincts against reason, when she really shouldn't have. She finds out there's others in these cages, and one person that is also locked up in one of these cages is named Homer, and he begins to talk to her. He was the person she was obsessed with in the first episode, and she was desperately trying to find. She then snaps back to reality, where she is with the 4 students and the teacher, where she is telling the story, and runs out of the abandoned house. Overall, this show has a lot of potential for good and is definitely keeping me interested. So I'll definitely check out the next episode. Part of me is kind of hoping she's just crazy and not really psychic, as I think that would be a great ending to the show, but we will have to wait and see. Let me know what you think about my review and thoughts on this episode, and what your own thoughts on this episode are. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you liked my review and you would like to see more review or theory videos on the OA or other shows.